I hope you have a sense of humour, and I wish you all the good things possible in this life.
Life doesn't have to be so difficult, you know. You don't have to eat food off the floor. I am here in my veranda now, and I'm looking for oil paints. Oil paints. Usually I've got the fool on the motorcycle. I also have a problem with a police helicopter. The aeroplane's going by. Let's just wait a minute. Stay with me now as we continue. It's a beautiful morning and it's fairly quiet at the moment, so I've decided to do a little bit of filming. These are the sum total of my oil paints. Half empty, half full. Forgotten, didn't know I had. Yuck, sticky, stuck together. God. Yesterday I actually started with oil paints. I sorted out most of the paints that are still viable, sorted out the colours, and because most of the tubes of oil paint have leaked, the outside of them is very sticky and I'm forced to wear gloves. But that's not a problem. Look, I get angry sometimes, okay? So stop acting stupid. Shut up, Ken. About the painting, one thing I neglected to tell you, and as you well know, I hate painting on a bouncy surface. I just don't like a bouncy surface, alright? That's me, you know. I made a slurry, a mixture of plaster and Portland cement, and I spread a thin layer, but not all that thin, of that mixture, and I've let the canvas sit out in the sun to dry, and that has taken a lot of the bounce out of the canvas. I got out a jar of leftover oil paint that I rescued from somewhere, thrown out in the street. It's still viable, pretty good. I've used it as a basis for future layers of paint to go on, because that has penetrated now the very absorbent, very spongy surface that I created with the plaster Portland cement, and it's given it also a kind of texture, something that I like very much. I got rid of all the acrylic paint, and now I have to sort out what's viable from my oil paints. And I found these Cobra branded oil, well, they swing both ways depending on what kind of solvent you use. They can be oil paints or they can be water-based paints. Now, oil paints take forever to dry. That was done yesterday, what you see there. It's dried already. Now, I'm going to give you a detailed view of this exploratory, nebulous basis for the painting. There's a lot of symbolism, and we'll talk about that later towards the end of the painting. One thing that I need to make very, very clear early in the piece right now is that this painting was inspired very much by my playing with fire painting. I like that exaggerated body parts, sort of a huge hand, you know, like that, you know. The hand is a lot bigger in comparison to the rest of the body, but that's because that accentuates the importance of the accusing finger. Now, I'm thinking of putting a second hand down there. A second hand? No, it'll be new, but it'll be a second hand. Something coming up like that, you know, something trying to reach out for the dagger. Maybe, maybe not. But you see, already the symbolism is there, you know, like the red breath, the flaming background, and the pure, clear world outside of the hell that he comes from, this fellow here, the accuser. Now, I just want to make one thing clear, that I'm quite capable of painting and drawing proportions to perfection. If this painting was meant to be perfectly proportional and all that, I could do that. I choose to paint from my imagination, the things that I envisage inside my imagination, and I'm not interested about the true and correct physical world. I don't do any representations of the physical world in a photographic manner. I'm just not interested in that, okay? I paint for pleasure, for relaxation, and for an expression of my imagination. I'm not interested in the realities of the physical world. Another element of quirkiness that I'm going to incorporate into this painting is that effect that you've seen in those impossible 3D, 4D, whatever you call them, puzzles. You know, this picture of the triangle that sort of, you look at it and you say, huh? How can that be possible? You know, stairs that go up and then come down and sort of merge into nowhere, and those impossible geometric shapes. I'm going to do something like that here. One part of that element is already in effect, but I'm not going to point it out just yet. I will save it for the end of the painting. When the painting's complete, I will explain it all then. So now I'm still in the experimental stage where I can afford to make mistakes, erasures, and make changes to the painting. This is the perfect time to show the evolution of the painting. You see, that's my way of showing how a painting grows from start to finish. I don't do those time lapses and a sped up film of the painting. I don't like doing that. It's not the way that I do things, not the way that I show my paintings. That's how things are around here. The brush is what makes it all happen. The brush should never be dismissed and brushed aside. If you have watched this video from the very start to the very end without fast forwarding, you're awesome.